back in town. The boys are back. Episode 8. Squeeze the juice. The money's flying. Turkey Day was a success.
It was.
I guess more for you than for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, you know.
I lost a lot of unfortunate games at the end of the game.
You did, yeah, for sure. Especially that Cowboys-Giants game. That one was tough. That was tough. I'm not going to lie.
I was sitting pretty. Daniel Jones just had to come and ruin my night.
I love DJ for that. I respect him for that. But, I mean,
Patriots got robbed.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off
Go ahead.
here. I mean,
we're recapping Thanksgiving and...
Yep. So we had the Thanksgiving special that we did, obviously, for the Thanksgiving football games. And then we had our regular college and football and NFL football episode. So last week in college, I went 1-2. You went 2-1. And in the NFL, if you combine our regular and Thanksgiving special, I was 4-2 in the NFL, and you were 2-4. So that brings my college record up to 18-14. My NFL record sitting at 21-14-2. I've absolutely stormed back in that category. My overall record now sits at 39-28-2. You, on the meanwhile, are sitting at 15-17 in college, 19-15-2, with an overall record of 34-32-2. So we are both over 500. I'm plus 11. You are plus 2.
It's creeping up.
And, yeah.
It's creeping up.
But this is a big week because we got some huge games to, maybe give you a little bit more of a leeway there. But in college last week, Michigan State at Penn State. Talk about a blown cover. MSU was down by 5 late in the fourth, and then Penn State scores 2 quick touchdowns. They go up by the perfect 19. I had Michigan State plus 18.5. You had the Nittany Lions minus 18.5. So while I got screwed, you benefited. Shout out Peyton Thorne for that interception, and shout out their offense for absolutely sucking nonetheless. Notre Dame at USC, what a great night show that was.
That was a good game.
The crowd in LA, it felt like it was back. It was unreal. The energy, the atmosphere. Caleb Williams, magical. 38-27. I was on the Trojans minus 5.5. You were on the Irish plus 5.5. I was happy if I were to win one bet, it would be USC. That made me feel good. And then Michigan at Ohio State. The game.
Hail to the victors, baby.
That was a funny game. It was a funny game. So I inevitably will have a pie thrown in my face once Michigan is announced a playoff team. But I did take the Bucks minus 7.5, and I shouldn't have because I don't believe in C.J. Stroud. I don't believe at all in his ability, and I don't really believe in Ryan Day anymore either. He's a fraud. He's a fluke. You, on the meanwhile, took your Wolverines. You weren't very confident.
I was
but
not
you took
confident
them.
at all.
You took them.
You have to have faith. You have to have faith sometimes.
You blindly went with your Wolverines, and they came through for you.
They really came through.
So in the NFL,
shocked.
The Thanksgiving Day game, the one that we all were on the edge of our seats for, Bills at Lions. Bills 28-25. Last second field goal for Tyler Bass as the Lions do cover 9.5. We're both on that, but really felt like we should have won that game
100%.
As Lions fans. It was right there for the taking.
Jim Nance? Is it Jim Nance who spoke bad things into existence?
It's tough. It was a really tough game. Felt a lot like the Vikings game earlier on in the season where they had a chance on 4th and 4 to ice the game. They chose to kick the field goal. They missed the field goal. Vikings go on and win. This one, a little bit different, but I think execution still is missing. I thought Goff had Chark on that throw. Missed him. Some would say you could have run it on 3rd down, then take a timeout, then take your shots. I don't know. I kind of liked the play call. I liked going for it, but
Swift
it
and
is what it is.
Swift and Amon-Ra were slipping everywhere.
They were.
On that drive. I don't know if it was just me, but that's what I saw. They just were slipping everywhere. But I don't know. Should have been a Lions victory. But it could have been a staple win, but it was a great game played. And you can look positively on that.
There are some things to take away. You feel good about it, but I wanted to win 5-6.
Thanksgiving
you're sitting
Day.
A lot different in that playoff, category. How you're sitting up, the board, how it looks. 5-6 is a big difference from 4-7. So it's unfortunate. And if you win that game, I mean, you're at a 4-game win streak, and you're riding hot into this game against the Jaguars.
And
we're going to get into it,
after.
but yeah. So we'll get into it though. Giants at Cowboys. The Giants with the backdoor cover. 12 seconds left. Daniel Jones touchdown. 28-20 Cowboys win. But in fairness, the Giants were playing really good up until the second half. I was feeling very comfortable with my pick, and then all of a sudden, the sky fell. And the Giants just couldn't get it done offensively. Defensively, Dak was hitting Dalton Schultz left and right. So look, tough L for you on the Cowboys minus 9.5, but I'll take the Giants plus 9.5. That was an ugly cover, but I'll take it nonetheless. And then Pats at Vikings. So many mistakes the Patriots made. Special teams, penalties, just errors that you're not really accustomed seeing Bill Belichick teams make. They did make them. Vikings won by 7. I was on Pat's money line. You were on Pat's plus 2.5. Obviously,
unfortunate calls too.
Unfortunate calls, and look, I was ready to slam my helmet on the turf just like Mac Jones. I was so mad after the game. I threw my jersey off. I slammed on the ground, and I was irate because here's the thing. I'm watching that game, and I'm thinking, we're better than the Vikings. This is a football team that is better than the Vikings, and they had every chance to win that game, but they kept shooting themselves in the foot. In the fourth quarter, they got the stop, and then they get a roughing the punter. 5-yard penalty, first down. Vikings go on and score the game-winning touchdown with Adam Thielen. It's frustrating. They made a lot of mistakes that I've seen Lions team make, so that's what really got me irritated because I've seen the Lions make those mistakes hundreds of times. You don't really see that from the Patriots. The Pats are making those mistakes, and it cost us a chance at winning that game or really covering the spread because I think this should have been a much closer game. Nonetheless, let's move on to Sunday. Bucks at Browns. Browns, awesome overtime victory. David Njoku with an unreal one-handed catch on fourth down to tie the game. They go into overtime. They get a couple stops. Nick Chubb, the game winner. I was on Browns plus 3.5. Brissett send-off. Give it to me. You were on the Bucks minus 3.5. I told you I didn't like that pick. I was not on the Bucks that game. It was an ugly game, a mistake by the lake. You take the Browns.
That's all I kept thinking in my mind was that you saying that after the game. You know what? It was very unfortunate. I finally trusted Brady. It didn't happen. Ironically, I have Njoku and Chubb on my fantasy team, so that was kind of a dub, but was it worth it? I don't know.
It's okay. Ravens at Jaguars. I told you I hated this game. I hated the pick.
I was so upset.
And what does Baltimore do? What does Lamar do? They screw me. They screw me. I said on this show, I hate this pick. This pick makes me want to vomit. And it did. They were up 27-20. All they had to do was get one stop. The Jaguars were out of timeouts. And it's a young quarterback on a young team that is 3-7 on the year. And they go down the field and score a touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Are you serious?
And let's not even talk about all the missed opportunities in that game, too. Field goal after field goal for Lamar Jackson, this offense. Score! Get in the end zone. This is ridiculous. So I'm done with the Ravens. I'm never betting on them again. And Lamar Jackson, I'm done. I told you I hated him. I don't think he's a good quarterback. This game validated that for me. So I'm done with Baltimore. I'm done with Lamar. I'm pissed. Last game, Bengals at Titans. Bengals win 20-16. I feel good about that one. Yeah. Back on the happy side. Bengals minus 1.5. We're both on that. I looked at that spread. I said, Titans, home dog. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I think that they have been playing better football, yet the Bengals are favored in that one. Just made sense to go Bengals there, and they covered. Little fortunate at the end with the touching the center penalty, but we'll take those because it iced the game, and we got the win. So at the end of the day, that's the recap. One more time, overall record for me, 39-28-2. Overall record for you, 34-32-2. So we're handing you guys out winners. We're going to keep doing that. Hopefully this week just encapsulates what we've been doing all season long. So let's get into it.
My goodness. What my last statement toward that is, this whole season was for Lamar to prove himself, get the money, and shut everyone up. And you know what? He shut everyone up because they don't want to talk about him. They don't want to look at him. They don't want anything to do with him. So
nope, toxic sludge. That is Lamar Jackson. He is toxic sludge. Stay away. Yellow caution sign. That's being thrown at Lamar right now. I can't stand him. I'm done.
He's done, and we're on to a big moment in time because, my friends, it is championship weekend in college football, and ironically, right now, I was just sent some true breaking news in college football.
Oh, boy.
It is not related to the games, but according to PFF College on Twitter, they are certified. This was sent to me. Michigan QB Cade McNamara will transfer to Iowa.
We literally were here
As
pre-show.
of 10 minutes ago.
We were here pre-show. I didn't know about this. We were talking about we were talking about Cade McNamara. And you were like, I think he's the perfect Notre Dame quarterback. And I'm like, I could see Notre Dame. I could also see Iowa or Wisconsin. And what do you know? He goes to Iowa. I think that's a good fit. It's a very conservative offense. It's the kind of style Cade McNamara played last year with
100%.
Michigan. If he can rely on that defense. And if they get a run game established again, I think that's been evading Iowa for a while now, is having that running back that can kind of, I'm not going to say carry the offense, but that can really sustain these drives, because I think lately they just haven't had that guy on offense where they can kind of go to and be like, okay, we need you to create for us. They just haven't had that. It's been a lot of defense. I don't believe in Spencer Petras at all. I think he's a terrible quarterback, and that offense needs some juice and needs some revitalization. I think Cade can bring that. I really like Cade McNamara as a quarterback. I thought he got screwed earlier in the year. JJ, more talented, sure, but I thought Cade was better for the offense, and I think he deserves the respect that I think now he's going to start receiving, and hopefully he does great things at Iowa.
I agree. I think that's a great spot. I agree. The run game has been out for Iowa. Every couple of years they have that one guy who kind of comes in, but for the most part, they're tight end university, arguably.
Yeah, I mean,
at
it's not even
times.
like Iowa's had like these big name running backs. Either,
No.
but it's guys that just get the job done. You know, it's like guys that are solid running backs. They just haven't had like a really dependable option in the backfield or in the passing attack since, I mean, since like Hawkinson and Fant. I mean, their tight end this
those
year,
two.
I forget his name. He's pretty good, but it's not the same.
I agree. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Crazy news. It's official. I can only guarantee it about 99%. Because I don't want to say it's absolutely true, but seems pretty true. Seems pretty legit. I like the fit. He'll be fine there.
Should be, hopefully. I'm rooting for the kid.
Yeah, agreed. All right, championship weekend, college football. We're only going to knock out half of these, but you're going to get all our picks of who we think is going to win.
Yeah,
no
we only
matter
thought
what.
3 games were really worth putting on the board, but we do have, I mean, obviously, some big championship games still, but just 3 games that we kind of want to bet on this week for the championship games.
All fair. All right, first game. Rematch for the Pac-12 championship. The Utes versus USC. It is USC minus 2.5. Utes plus 2.5. This game was a nail biter. It was everything you wanted. High scoring. Everything. Everyone's running around going crazy. Advantage barely to Utah, probably because they were at home in that game. But some mistakes were kind of made at the end. But for the most part, this could be another back and forth game, or it may be one true team that kind of prevails this time.
I'm feeling so good about this. Look, I love USC. I love Caleb Williams. I'm going to try to put my bias aside a little bit here. Let's just look at the facts. USC's riding hot. They're coming off 2 massive wins against UCLA. And then I think a surprising victory to some against Notre Dame, because I think a lot of people looked at that game and said, I think Notre Dame can actually win this one.
I did.
Yeah, and USC really, they shut the door. They shut the door on them. Their offense was too much for Notre Dame to handle. I told you if they get into a little bit of a track meet, they're going to outpace Notre Dame. They did that. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, look, the world saw Caleb Williams on full display. He's legit. It doesn't take a scientist or, a 4.0 student or a PhD to understand that this guy has talent. It's blatantly obvious. It's right there in front of you. He just jumps off the TV screen. He's going to be the number 1 pick when he declares for the draft. But in terms of this game, this is the focus. We know USC had a tough 1-point loss on the road at Utah last time. Night game, an emotional game.
Big environment. Everything
very,
about it.
very loud environment. Utah's really good at home. And that was a game where, kind of like Bama and LSU, the home team goes for 2 at the end and they get it, and that's kind of a wrap, right? But I look at this game, and I think it's just really difficult for a team to beat a team twice in the same season, to beat that same team twice in one season. So while I do like Utah, I do like Cam Rising, and I think that they're probably a good bet here because The public is heavy on USC. 74% of the public, per the Action Network, are on the Trojans. That does tend to get my guard up a little bit. I do kind of get afraid of that number, but I'm putting my faith in Lincoln Riley, putting my faith in Caleb Williams. I've been on them for weeks now. They're one of my favorite teams in college football. They have so many players that I love that are currently in the NFL. Fight on, baby. Let's go Trojans -2.5.
Now, I think last time we had this game, I think it was almost the same.
It was Utah -2.5, and we both picked Utah, and they did win, but they did not cover.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say I was like we either picked the same or we both picked different.
We were
but
both on
we
Utah.
both lost because it was the 1-point game.
And we were thinking that home nighttime environment, I think that gives Utah the advantage. We got a neutral site in this one, so
I know
you're
that's
not
a
getting
big
that.
factor. I think that's an absolutely huge factor, especially for Utah. I do agree with the statement of being a team twice in a season is a rare occasion, and Utah's been. They played great that game, but it was kind of like they survived due to the environment. And I agree, USC's been just hitting on all. They've been firing on all cylinders. They've been just outpacing everybody like they did in Notre Dame. Their defense is playing, I think, pretty well compared to like what you'd expect of a Pac-12. They're not playing like crazy, but they're getting the job done. So Caleb Williams can come back out and just keep going touchdown.
Their defense is not great, but what it does do is it creates turnovers. And look, when your defense can create turnovers and your offense isn't turning the ball over, you're giving your offense more possessions. You're gonna be, I don't know. I don't want to say you're gonna be playing to advantage.
Yeah, you have a little bit more favor in that.
And when teams have to pass to beat you, like for example, if USC gets the ball first, they go up 7. Then you turn the ball over. USC gets another touchdown. You're in the hole 14-0. You're not gonna be able to ground and pound USC because they're just going to outpace you.
You got to run it through the air.
Exactly. So their style on offense, I think, really helps their defense. The offensive line is a little shaky. I do see Caleb Williams run for his life a ton, and he's making the plays. He's unreal. But it is concerning, though, and I think that's more of a concern if USC wins this game and then moves on to the college football playoff where you're getting more intense defenses. But for this game, Lincoln Riley knows what's at stake. He's been to the college football playoff twice now, I believe, maybe 3 times
twice
as a
with
coach.
Oklahoma.
I think he knows what it takes. Caleb Williams, clearly the best player in the country. I think they get it done.
I love the Utes. I loved them in that last game. They're playing good, but they're not playing good enough.
Yes, sir.
USC is playing out of their minds. Caleb Williams, I will, in fact, for Evan's happiness, say he is him.
He's
Caleb
him.
Williams is that guy. You have to have the confidence, and especially after the game that he had, to hit the Heisman pose on the sidelines. You got to just know you're that guy, and you got to have no doubts about that. So all respect to him, but I'm riding with a fight on and with you this week. I hope they make it to the playoffs, and because I'd love to see that, because it'd be entertaining. And
Yeah.
whether win or lose, USC is an entertaining team, and you love entertainment.
They're going to bring a good offensive showcase to the playoff that I don't think we've seen in a little bit. Last year, I think we got some more defensive-minded teams.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
Alabama's offense was electric, but then they lost Jamison Williams. They lost John Mechie. So what were they? Kind of what they are this year, right? So
Meh.
they're not the same
Beatable.
team. They're not the same team. This USC team definitely beatable, but in terms of firepower, in terms of wow, in terms of just watchability, they got it all on offense.
No, absolutely. All right. We're fighting on. USC -2.5.
Let's go.
All right. Championship game 2. We head to an ugly one in the Big 12. Kansas State versus TCU. It is the same thing. Kansas State +2.5. TCU -2.5. These Horned Frogs can't stop surviving.
No, they keep on winning, and look, I do think one of USC and TCU loses this weekend. I do. I don't see both making it out of this weekend alive. But look, not like that. But Kansas State, look, they played TCU so good last time. They were in control of the game. They're up 28-10. Will Howard, he comes in for an injured Adrian Martinez. He was knocked out of the game. Will Howard looked great. Then he gets knocked out of the game. Their third string comes in. Not even going to name him. Will Howard comes back in late. Just a little too late for TCU, as TCU was already kind of, just a little bit too far ahead for
Shut 'em
Kansas
out.
State to make any ground up. But look, the public loves TCU this week. 70% of the bets are on TCU per Action Network. We know that they've won a lot of their games by the skin of their teeth.
Big teeth.
I love Deuce Vaughn. I do think Will Howard is a good quarterback. And Kansas State's defense is good. They're 14th in scoring defense in the country, and their offense averages 33 points a game. I know TCU's got a great offense, Max Duggan, Quentin Johnston, but Kansas State had them on the road the last time. And I think, like I said, I think one of these teams loses. I think that team is TCU. So I think the struggles against Kansas State actually exist over the course of the game with a Will Howard hopefully healthy for the entire game. I'm taking Kansas State plus 2.5. Wildcats, baby. I think it's a no-brainer. I do. I think TCU is in trouble.
He goes a no-brainer. I was riding the Wildcats all season. There's always trouble in Little Manhattan. Evan didn't believe it, and then they smacked his Cowboys
That was
up
tragic.
like
I knew that was a bad pick too. And I was like, I literally sounded drunk. I was like, I've been betting the Cowboys, for weeks now. So let's do it again. And yeah, just not good. Just not good.
I love the Wildcats. They're a great team. Defensively, I agree. They're probably top. They're
Best
probably,
Big 12 defense.
That's what I was about to say. They're probably the best in the Big 12. If the offense is hitting, it's a stacked team on both sides. For Big 12 considerations, it's a stacked team on both sides. TCU just keeps getting it done, man. I don't know how. I don't know what way. You're talking about being ready to go after running out and kicking that field goal against Baylor. How? How? The guy just rips it. He just picks a spot, stands, rips it, and they won the game.
It was unreal.
They won the game. And I was just like, I can't believe this.
My bet still hit.
I know.
But I was like, man, it would have been sweet to see Baylor win.
I think it would have been too, because then I wouldn't have to worry about this game, but also you have annoying teams sitting on the outside of the playoff. I want to pick Kansas State, but these guys just keep getting it done. And I'm going to go with TCU.
All right.
Minus 2.5.
No, it's a fair pick.
The thing is, I think this could literally be another freaking let's kick a field goal and win by one, and we're going to the playoff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can see that happening.
And TCU wins, right? And I'm like, of course they win, but Evan's bet hits, and that's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be, it's going to be 30-28, Kansas State. Oh, there's 15 seconds left.
You know it.
TCU runs it into the 15, kicks a field goal, and wins by one.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And you know what? I'm going to let it happen because it's going to keep other stupid teams out of the playoff, and I'm letting it happen. But I'm taking TCU minus 2.5.
All right. I'm running with the Cats. I think I'm feeling really good about this one. I think they're going to win. Deuce Vaughn, baby. Let's ride. On to the last one.
All right, my friends. Game 3. The Knights and Tulane fight again, this time for the American ship. +4 Knights, -4 the Green Wave. I don't know how to feel about this game because they shocked me last time. They shocked me. The Knights broke the brakes off of Tulane.
Well, Tulane was not ready for what UCF brought. They were running all over Tulane. Their quarterback, John Rice Plumlee, he was unstoppable. But look, yeah, we know. The Green Wave didn't come through last time, right? We know that. But why is Tulane favored by 4 points if we have already seen this matchup before and UCF won? They were up by 14 with under a minute to go. Tulane got a late touchdown to make it a 7-point game. This was a 2-possession game late in the fourth quarter. Why is Tulane getting 4 points here? It's a good question.
We hate the 4-point spread, though.
I do, but look, this is at a neutral site. You would think,
but the game was at Tulane.
I know, but that's what I'm getting at. It was at a neutral site. Oh, this game's at a neutral site, and Tulane is getting more points in this game than they were for the game at home.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 2.5.
Yeah, so it just makes no sense to me. And while 69% of the public is backing Tulane, I'm gonna ride the public. I don't know what to say. I don't know why Tulane's getting 4 points. It makes no sense to me. This spread stinks, and I'm gonna ride with it because there is no reason why
the wave.
UCF should not be able to do exactly what they did at Tulane last time, and yet Tulane is getting more points. So I'm just going to close my eyes and pick this one. I'm picking Tulane, and it's not even because I love Tulane, because I do love that. I mean, look at this mascot. Look at this mascot. It's amazing.
He's gonna
Willie Fritz
ride
is a
the
great
wave
coach,
like a
too.
tidal
And Tulane
wave.
they won 10 games in the year. They beat Cincinnati last week to end their 61-game losing streak against ranked opponents. But at the same time,
How's Cincinnati looking? Meh.
yeah,
Their coach is dipping on
exactly.
him.
So, exactly. But look, I think Tulane gets it done just based on what Vegas is telling you. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going Tulane -4.
He's riding the wave.
I'm riding the green wave. If they break my heart one more time, I'll let it happen because of that beautiful mascot.
I do. I love that mascot. He's sick. We were talking about it. You're like, got to get some Tulane merch.
I do. I need to get something.
Absolute swag to the roof.
Look at him.
Hey, you know what? That's a definition of drip or drown apparel right there.
Yeah, Tulane gear.
I loved riding the wave with you, man. We rode 2 waves a couple weeks ago, the green wave and the red wave. One crashed, one didn't, but where are they now? Gus Malzahn, former Auburn coach, has been getting it done with these Knights, keeping the program alive. Their quarterback is a running machine.
John Reese Plumlee.
He is crazy. I'd never seen a quarterback be running like that recently. I know it's the American Conference. It's back and forth. UCF looks like the more complete team to me.
They are. They 100% are. They are probably a better football team, but yet Tulane is getting 4 points, more points on a neutral site than they were at home. Like,
And that's fair. That's fair.
It makes no sense to me.
But what do we learn about ugly spreads?
You
Don't-
ride with them. You ride with the ugliness.
You don't ride with the ugly.
You ride with the ugly.
No ugly zone.
This isn't the Ravens, okay? This is not the
This
Ravens.
is a no
I
ugly
repeat, this
zone.
is not the Ravens.
There's a no ugly zone. I love the wave. I love riding with them. Love the merch. I hope you get
just hit
some.
me with it.
And I am hitting him with the butt. Or as Lee Corso would say, not so fast. Shout out to him. I'm taking the Knights. I'm taking a +4. It's a smarter pick because they won last time in proper fashion. And you know what? If they lose, it could totally see this being a field goal game. So give it to me, the Knights.
Dude, I 100% agree. I do think it's a smarter pick, but here's the thing. Vegas is not about what's smarter. It's about balancing the money. It's about making sure that they win. It's about making sure that you are feeling comfortable, just have the rug swept from underneath you and you fall flat on your face. This is one of those games where you're looking at UCF. They beat Tulane last time on the road, and you're getting 4? No-brainer. Yeah, tap the table. Give me UCF, and then what does Tulane do? They win by 17. That's what's going to happen in this one. It's not going to make any sense, but I promise you, sometimes that's football, and that's Vegas. I think you're making the smarter pick. I do. I'm making the stupid pick, but I think sometimes the stupid pick works. Like, it doesn't make sense. The senseless picks sometimes work, and I think this is one of those occasions. So if you're listening, if you want to be smart, if you want to use your brain, go with Justin. But if you want to kind of drunkenly fall into this pick with me, go ahead. I invite you to.
Great advice.
That's what this pick is.
That's hilarious.
This is the drunk guy at the casino who looks at Tulane -4 and just for whatever reason, because he didn't watch UCF Tulane earlier in the year. He's like, "Give me Tulane." That's my crowd this week. The drunk guy at the casino. We're gonna ride with it though. Let's go with the wave. Look at that beautiful mascot. God, I'm getting some merch. Maybe tonight.
We'll see. Whatever. After the crazy motion in the ocean that Evan is causing with this green wave attack, we have finished the bets of our college championship picks. But we are going to throw out our just straight up who we think is going to win for the other 3 championship games. First off, Michigan-Purdue, Big Ten championship. New breaking news today that Blake Corum is out.
Yep.
But that shouldn't be really much of a factor
No,
in
it
this
shouldn't.
game.
Purdue's been they're just not very good. I mean, Jeff Baum is 3-0 going against top three teams.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'm not doubting Purdue because
Yeah,
they're one of those upset teams in the Big Ten.
They've been the spoiler makers. That's their nickname. And look, they have definitely the ability to with a veteran QB like Aiden McConnell.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So, God, I'm thinking like TJ McConnell, and
I started thinking McDowell, like Malik McDowell, because I was looking at top like players from Michigan earlier. And I was
yeah.
like,
But anyway, yeah, Michigan should be able to win this game. I do think Purdue could cover. So if you're betting this one, I think it's Michigan plus 16.5.
yeah,
I do think Purdue could cover that, but likewise, Michigan, we both think it's just going to be probably a easy cover or easy win. Maybe not an easy cover, but an easy win.
Oh, it's minus 17 now on this. But
So,
I mean, it could
be an easy cover. It could be an easy win. I think one of the two will be true, and obviously, if it's an easy cover, it's an easy win.
Yeah,
So
100%. We're both going blue on the Big Ten championship, and then we got. You know what? I'm going to save that one for last because that one's fun too. Just because we were talking about, it could be controversial. So we head to the SEC championship. Fumbled LSU, lost their hopes, but they do get a shot at a SEC championship against Georgia.
yeah, what's crazy is I think if LSU beat Texas A&M last week, I think they'd be the 5 right now.
I agree.
And I think they would be in line if they beat Georgia. I mean, obviously, I think if they beat Georgia, they'd be in the playoff. It depend on if TCU or USC lose, but they lost to Texas A&M.
The Jimbo.
I don't know how Texas A&M is terrible. They're 4-7 going into that game, but look, they got it done. The Aggies got it done. And what do we say about LSU? Hard to trust, right? Really inconsistent. Some weeks they look like they can beat anybody. Some weeks they look like they can't beat anybody. They're like one of the worst teams. Yeah. So it's tough because I actually liked this LSU team. Like, I'm not a big Brian Kelly guy, but I like the team.
I agree.
And this game, you're coming off a loss against Texas A&M. I'm sorry. I can't trust you. So Georgia, obviously, I think just destroys them.
I agree. They dropped 9 spots, man. They dropped to 14.
Well, that's you deserve
crazy.
that once you lose to the Aggies.
And that one's
Would've
about
been
the same.
horrible.
It's Georgia minus 17.5 in that one.
Yeah, I would take, if you're betting, I would take Georgia. Just trust the Bulldogs there. But yeah, I'm not betting that one. We're not betting that one.
No.
We're not betting any of these games
But-
because we just don't think. I mean, what's the fun in betting a Georgia team 17 points?
Yeah.
Like,
we wanted the close ones.
yeah,
We wanted to make it a
what's
little
the
more
fun in
fun.
that?
So we got the big dogs, Michigan and Georgia. Probably going to both be locked in at 1 and 2 after it's all said and done. And then the last one is the ACC championship. We got Clemson and North Carolina, a juicy game because they could both finish at 10 and 3 with a North Carolina win. But the cover right now is Clemson minus 7.5, or the spread is.
Right. So I actually was a little surprised you didn't put this one on the sheet at first when you first gave me the sheet for the week. But with that being said, I do like North Carolina in this one. I do like Drake May. I look at that game last week in South Carolina. Look, I know Spencer Rattler's on like a crazy little heater right now, but that's a home loss for Clemson, a team that doesn't lose at home. We talked about how scary Death Valley was. Spencer Rattler does not give a bleep about Death Valley. So, look, I think Drake May, he's really talented for the quarterback for UNC. I think they continue to build on what's been I'm not going to say impressive year, but I think a really good year for North Carolina. And I think this gives them some momentum going into next season. ACC champ, Drake May, another year under his belt. I love it here. Yeah, let's go I'm thinking Notre Dame. Let's go North Carolina.
I agree. I'm rocking with the Tar Heels. I like Drake May. I think this is the perfect time for North Carolina to be like, we've had some fumbles, but we're legit. Here's our ACC championship. We got a dog in Drake May to carry us, and they're here to play. I think that's the time. Show up against what people think is just the kingpin of the ACC, and no one's going to bother them, right?
Absolutely.
It's time.
I think so too, but I mean, we're going to see Saturday. It's going to be fun.
I think these are all great games.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Georgia, LSU, and Michigan, Purdue, I think you actually have some really entertaining games. Obviously, Clemson and North Carolina being one of them, but I think the games that we covered, the ones that we're putting our money on, those ones I think are actually going to be like you can't not watch it. Like your eyes have to be locked in. The other ones, I mean, you could probably fall asleep with Purdue and Michigan.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest.
Yeah. LSU Georgia might be just exciting because it's 2 SEC teams, but it should be still a walk for Georgia. For
Yeah,
the most part.
the top two teams, Georgia and Michigan, they should roll this weekend. If they don't, maybe a little cause for concern heading into the playoff, but we know they're gonna make it. We know they're in. We know a pie's coming in my face. So
I know. Look for that in the end of December.
yeah, we know
folks.
that's coming.
Gonna be
so
fun.
I'm not too worried for either of these schools. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, the pie to the face will be officially confirmed on Tuesday.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Thank you,
already
CJ Stroud. Thank you, Ryan Day.
And yeah, shout out to them.
Although Michigan still might be in the playoff with the one loss, just because the committee put Ohio State at 5, and now if TCU or USC lose, Ohio State is getting into the playoff. It is unreal after the way they performed Saturday.
I think that's disgusting.
I think so too. I'm honestly on your side here. Michigan obliterated Ohio State.
Yeah, it wasn't a close
on the road. It wasn't close. It was a 23-point loss. 23-point loss.
23.
I'm sorry. That's like, you're done. Like, I was of the opinion if either school loses that game because of their strength of schedule, you're not in the playoff.
And people call Michigan biased. I get it. That's true sometimes, but in this sense, how are you that biased to Ohio State when they were scared against Northwestern? People could say weather, whatever, but how legit have they? They looked at times legit, but how legit have they played? Because the Big Ten's been kind of like, eh.
It makes no sense to me, and I do think, honestly, if Michigan lost the game, Michigan would be at 5-2. Like, that's just what the committee wants.
And they wouldn't bother to keep them in.
They want Michigan and Ohio State both in the playoff. That's what they're telling you, because they think one of TCU or USC loses this weekend, and that justifies putting Ohio State back into the playoff mix. And it's unreal because I think it takes away from what Michigan did to Ohio State. I think it takes away from the magnitude of the game because you're basically telling us
if you lose,
the game doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like when you put Ohio State 5. That game did not matter. Like, sure, the winner has confirmed their spot in the playoff, but you have two shaky clubs in USC and TCU that could lose. They're only 2.5-point favorites. They could easily lose, and that would slide Ohio State back in the mix. That's telling me that game barely mattered. And that's sad because Michigan dominated.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. As a joke, the Big Ten commissioner, of course he's biased, but he's like, I see no reason why it shouldn't be Michigan and Ohio State both in the playoffs. I think 100% they should both be in. I'm like, okay, you're so biased, but you just want money from those games.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
No, it's all a joke, and that's why when we get to 12 teams, I personally have been of the opinion that I think 6 or 8 teams is better than going double-digit teams, because I think it preserves like the cream of the crop. Like, I think if you get the top 6 or the top 8, like, you're still getting really high-quality games, and you're getting teams that are deserving of the spots. Like, the 12th team that makes it, like, how deserving are they of being in the college football playoff? I think it's a little arbitrary at that point. But 6 to 8, in my opinion, you're getting really good teams that deserve to be in, and the conference championships matter. The big games down the stretch matter. So that's why I think if you limit it a little bit from 12, but expand it from 4, find that middle ground 6 to 8, that's my sweet spot. But they're going to 12, and we're just going to live with it. So on to the NFL, because we know I love the NFL way more than college football. And I'm excited for these games. They got me jazzed up because I think we got a really good slate for once. Because I feel like we've been getting kind of crappy NFL schedules the past couple weeks. This is a really good schedule. And, despite all the crap, I've actually done really well in the NFL lately. So maybe now I'll do bad because the schedule's actually good. But we'll see.
Yeah, Evan's been getting those hits, and I've been getting very unlucky. I'll tell you that.
And disclaimer, this is going to come out after the game, but I did bet Pats minus or plus 3.5. I'll be putting that on my record if they win or lose. I tweeted it out. Squeeze the Juice on Twitter. I tweet out my pick, and I'm hoping for a Pats win. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but
how can you not be?
How could I not be? On to the NFL.
I'm with them. I'm riding with them. NFL, let's ride the beautiful slate, as he calls it. Let's hype it up. Our boys are back. And I think they're back with some vengeance after an unfortunate Thanksgiving loss. It is Lions, Jags back in Detroit. Another game back in Detroit, man. But it is Jags -1, which...
No, it's Lions -1 now.
They switch already? My gosh. This thing is switched like nobody's business today.
It's been going back and forth.
We try to update this as live as we can. My thing still says Jacksonville -1.
I got Lions -1. So it
I trust
depends.
Vegas then.
It depends
I trust
where.
Vegas.
I guess it depends where you get it because it's just
I'm
bouncing all over the place.
We go back and forth because he's actually looking at betting. I'm on ESPN, so it just depends on what we're looking at.
I got Lions -1, so let's just roll Lions -1.
I'm
Hopefully
fine
that
with
doesn't change your pick. Okay.
No, that won't change my pick either way. I mean, it's one point.
Yeah,
So no,
okay,
this ain't
okay.
not going to change my pick. So
All right.
depending on what it is, when you're looking at it, it'll probably be either one of these teams plus or -1, no matter what.
It's been moving all over the place. At the beginning of the week, it was Lions -1.5. Then midweek, it was +1. Now it's back to -1. So it's really
ridiculous.
all over the place. Look, there's no way I cannot take the Lions at home, following a tough loss here. I'm going with the Lions here. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Look, they've had extra days of rest following the Thanksgiving game. It was a tough loss, but I think this team bought in. They realized, okay, we went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl favorite for 60 minutes, and we were this close. I know I'm so sick of this close. Trust me. I hate being this close, and they should have won that game. They had no reason not to win. Coaching mistakes, player mistakes, it all accumulated into that loss. But look, you're getting Jonah Jackson back. That's big. You're getting Jeff Okudah back. That's big. You might be getting Jameson Williams back this week. It doesn't seem like
I know they were hyping it up a lot, and now they're like, well, it might be weeks now. Again.
We'll see. I think if JMO does come back, I think probably doesn't play much, but
Nice count snap.
you get him on the field,
Or snap
and teams are going to be like,
What do I do?
I think we have to account for this guy. He runs a 4.1 basically. So look, let's give Jacksonville credit. Big win last week against Baltimore. Their point differential, we talked about it. It was +11 last week. 1 point victory, you're up to +12 now. So the Jags at 4-7 are plus in the point differential. You don't have to put stock into that, but it shows you that they've been either winning games by a good amount and keeping their losses tight. So this is going to be probably a one-score game. I think it actually easily is I'm thinking like a field goal, honestly. I think the Lions end up winning by 3. But yeah, 67% of the public's on the Lions. I'm going to back the public here. Not always my favorite thing to do, but
For once, the public's on the line.
I think the public's on the Lions here, and it's a good feeling because I'm on the Lions too. And look, Jags' run defense is good. We've talked about it before, but their pass defense not the best. They're allowing 7.1 yards per attempt. That's just not great. So I'm gonna go with the Lions here. I think Jared Goff gets it done at home. His numbers are better at home. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe you get the ground game going a little bit, but ARSB, hopefully JMO, Chark, he's back in the mix. Let's go Lions. I mean, come on now. -1 at home. You follow up a tough loss with a win. That's what good teams do. They win after they lose. So we need a win here to stay alive in the playoff race. I'm not going to tell you we're in the playoff race because at 4-7, you don't really deserve to be, but we're technically on the graphic. So Lions -1.
He said everything that needs to be said. I honestly have nothing to say. If you ain't taking the Lions, get out.
Making threats.
I am making threats because the Lions, I feel like there's more there, but I feel like they're still getting no respect. They did make dumb moves, some dumb decisions last week.
They did.
And, some guys fell. Poor clock management. That was my biggest stress. I was
especially at the end of the first half when they didn't let it go down to the 2-minute warning. They take the snap, incomplete pass. There's 2:04 left, and you go. I was just like, Dan, what are we doing here? Like, take it down to the 2-minute warning. Limit Buffalo's possession time on their next possession because they were in the red zone. The Lions were. They didn't want to do that. They gave the field goal at the end. Luckily, it wasn't a touchdown because we'd all be losing our minds if Buffalo did score a touchdown because they had plenty of time. They had plenty of time at the end of the first half to score a touchdown. Defense stood tall, gave only a field goal. But
we needed clock management,
yeah,
man.
Clock management was rough, and end-of-game execution still is not happening right now. And it's frustrating because we want it to so bad. Like, I want Goff to be the quarterback so we don't have to worry about a quarterback, but he's just not getting it done.
Yeah, he has the moments to just be like, there it is. It is handed to him on a plate. Here's your moment. Make the pass.
Yep.
And he can't hit at all. He can play good up until that point. When the moment hits, you're not winning Super Bowls, dude. I know you've been to one, but you got carried by everybody else. And right now, you're there. You're in Detroit. Hit the pass. Chark was open. Could have won the game. Could have had your moment.
He was there.
Could have won on Thanksgiving. Probably the biggest thing for Detroit, and you didn't get it done.
No, Chark was there. He had that throw. That was a touchdown. That was a walk-in touchdown. He was not even NFL open. He was college open. Like Chark was there. Like all he needed to do was have a pass that led him towards the end zone. Goff was thinking back shoulder. I don't know if it was a miscommunication. They weren't on the same page, but it just like if you're going for the kill shot, go for it. It was there. So
At least like within yards of a touchdown for sure.
Chark had probably a yard and a half on his defender. That is wide open in the NFL. Like that's wide open.
And we know Goff's not insanely good, but he can definitely drop it in there. And
Yeah,
like
that's
right
a throw
next to his
Goff
hand.
should make.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it done. And they were able to tie it in 23 seconds. You know, Josh Allen made a great throw to Stephon Diggs, and they got the win. But
So I knew that
just
was
it was frustrating. It was frustrating. But look, at the end of the day, it's a new week. You got to put that behind you. Have a little amnesia. We're on to game two here, but we're on to Jacksonville. We got to get this win if we have any shot at really making the season worthwhile.
Lions will get it. We're on it.
I hope so.
Game 2, squad. The ugly. It's not Jets. It's UGLY. Because the Jets be looking ugly.
Oh, wow. Really? You think so?
I think so. I really do. I get. Okay. I know, like Mike. I know White's coming in.
Franchise QB.
I
Mike
know,
White.
but it's like
Franchise QB.
he's legit. I agree. He's legit. I don't know how much I trust in him totally, but I trust him more than Zach Wilson.
No, that's fair.
I
Look,
trust him more than Zach Wilson.
Mike
for sure.
White, I'm going to say this with all due respect to Mike White. The Bears' defense is brutal. It's terrible. So it wasn't like they had a hard matchup last week against Chicago. I will admit, condition-wise, the weather, it was impressive what he did in that awful weather. It was rainy, it was wet, it was cold. He was able to make throws. Garrett Wilson looked great with Mike White. Elijah Moore actually got a catch. He got a touchdown. So, I mean, the Jets, they played well. They put up a ton of points against the Bears. Not that hard to do, but you're getting 1 o'clock Kirko Chains here. That's a little bit of a different animal. Look, the public is split on this one. It's actually 50-50. Like, no one really knows where to go with the spread. It hasn't moved much. And unlike some of these other games, like we've been talking about, like college, we had heavy, public's heavy on this team. Even the last game, Lions, 65+% on the Lions, heavy. This one's not that. This one is like literally 50-50. But I love this Jets defense, though. DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams, we've talked about before, but
Sauce is the guy.
Sauce and Reed specifically, that is probably the best cornerback duo in the NFL because they are both outstanding. And now they get a matchup with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. All right. So I'm looking at that one.
That's the game. That's where the game's won right
That's
there.
where the game is won. So I'm looking at that matchup. I know it's at home for the Vikings, but I'm going to go with the rookie. I think Sauce gets it done against Jettas, and that is really where it matters because if you take away Justin Jefferson,
it's all in the run game.
It's all in the run game, and guess what? The Jets allow 4 yards per carry. They are stout against the run. I'm taking the Jets +3. Look, the Vikings shut me up last week. They beat my Pats, but like I said, a lot of mistakes from the Patriots allowed that win for the Vikings to happen. I don't think the Jets make a ton of mistakes. I like Robert Saleh as a coach. I like Mike White. The Vikings' pass defense is brutal. It's dreadful. It's allowing a league-high 7.8 yards per attempt. I put my faith in the Jets' defense that can stop Justin Jefferson, stop Dalvin Cook, stop Adam Thielen, and stop 1 o'clock Kirk. Give me the Jets. Jets, 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 Jets. That's how we're rolling this week.
UGLY. He ain't got no alibi.
No.
They ugly.
Jets, 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 Jets. Ride with me, baby. Come on.
You trying to convince me to swap?
Come on.
If I'm going to be honest right now, I have to expose myself
Oh, no.
because I completely forgot Mike White was the quarterback. It completely blanked my mind. I know, just coming in hot on them. I got him choking over here.
How'd you forget?
It completely blanked my mind.
Did you not see him last Sunday? He was electric.
I did.
Electric
And
Mike White.
And it completely blanked my mind. It completely blanked my mind.
Dude.
I am so out of it right now.
Oh my gosh, you got me literally choking on water here.
Because that does make everything change.
Oh my goodness.
Fumbled the bag on this one, folks.
Gotta compose myself.
I fumbled the bag on this one, folks.
I gotta compose myself.
I completely forgot Mike White was the quarterback. I completely forgot about that.
In this game or last week?
In this game. So that's on me. I remember him last week. He popped off, went nuts, went crazy.
Or do you think Zach Wilson was coming back or something? Or
I think I was just locked in the Zach Wilson mindset.
Okay.
And it just completely just blanked my mind.
No, it's
so
okay.
That one's on me. That one's on me.
No, that's okay.
Because with that statement and the +3, that completely flips my thoughts.
Am I gonna like this?
That just shows you how. Okay, let me rephrase this. JETS, Jets.
Yes.
UGLY, Zach Wilson.
Thank you. I mean, Zach Wilson, he's a good-looking guy. Let's not get it twisted. He's a good-looking guy.
He needs to go back to Utah and just live his life.
His football game, that's ugly. That's an ugly style football. He's not getting it done. I'm glad Robert Saleh made the move. And Mike White looked great last week. Like I said, I know it was a bad Bears defense, but he looked good. And this is a really bad Vikings pass defense. So I think you actually have a shot here with Mike White to put up similar offensive stats.
I'm going to agree with this one. I was on Vikings until my mind rebooted and you reminded me of Mike White. My mind was ugly. My mind was locked on ugly Zach Wilson, and that was a problem. So I am flipping everything, and this happens sometimes because he convinced me for the Lions. He convinced me of another game, but I'm riding now in the sky with the Jets +3.
All right, let's do it.
Because that was, yeah, my mind had a reboot right there. So
that's okay. Happens.
That was embarrassing.
No, it's okay.
No, it really wasn't embarrassing, but it was just hilarious at the same time.
That was really funny. It was really funny. It was funny, and we're on to the next one. We're both on Jets +3. Let's get that.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Game 3. Titans in Philly. -4.5 Philly. Fly Eagles fly. Titans.
Look.
King Henry gonna stab the field with his sword.
The Titans, tough loss last week. I think that was a little bit uncharacteristic.
But we were happy.
We were happy. We were happy. You know, we got the win with the Bengals, but tough loss last week. We notified you guys in the pregame of it, or the recap of it. We told you what happened. Touching the center penalty, you can't do that. Mike Vrabel, special teams. You know, that's something I think a lot of coaches take pride in, having buttoned up special teams, being perfect on special teams. You can't have that. And so what would have been an opportunity to tie or win the game, they would have been down by 7. You know, score a touchdown, go for 2, score a touchdown, tie it up. Regardless, took that away from them. Bengals were able to ice it, take a knee. Let's get out of here. But focus is on this game, right? We got the Bengals win last week. Let's move on. We got Titans at Eagles. I love Mike Vrabel as a coach. They started 0-2. They're 7-4 now. And I'm looking at this game. The Titans are great against the run. 3.9 yards per carry. That is good for, I believe, the best in the NFL. We know they're a little bit susceptible to the pass, but I think it's been performing better. Like, I don't think Joe Burrow looked that good last week. The Bengals got it done, but they only gave up 20 points. It wasn't like they were getting thrown all over for. So while statistically, I think they've had a little bit of struggle covering the pass, it doesn't matter in this game because the Eagles want to run the football, and their defense is great against the run. Now, the Eagles can throw it, but I think the Titans get this game manageable, meaning if they're able to ball control, if they're able to run the ball with Derrick Henry, play good defense, not allow the Eagles to just go boom, boom, boom. If they get them into long drives, the Titans get the Philly defense into long drives. I think this is a chance for the Titans to cover this 4.5. Public likes them here. So do I. I'm taking the Titans +4.5.
I agree. I think the Philly has to win through the air. Hurts loves running. Sanders loves running. They are lost without their tight end for at least the next couple
Goddard,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah, Goddard I think is going to miss one more week. They might be getting Jordan Davis back though, which would be
that'd be
really big for the
huge.
run defense. He was a full participant on Wednesday, but they kind of were like, we don't know if he's going to play or not. So we'll see if he plays. It would be big for the run defense. It might honestly change my pick, but I still think the Titans can keep this within 4 points, right? I mean,
That's
4.5. I think that's manageable.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, A.J. Brown has been playing really well. Devonta Smith has kind of slid off this season, but I mean, that comes with Brown coming in, kind of being the dominant one in the territory. But you do have all the weapons being available. I mean, downfield, they've been pretty good. I feel like they've done more like short. They've been better with yards after catch than deep, deep bombs. You know, how Mahomes kind of used to ride with him and Tyreek or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I think Philly wins the game, but I like the Titans to cover that plus 4.5.
All right. Yeah, we're both on Titans
Yeah,
here.
we both are on Titans.
All
I
right.
think it could end up being like, a nice little maybe like 27-23 kind of win. I started thinking that might be a little too high at times because maybe it'd be better for like a 21-17 kind of win.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Eagles haven't really been that impressive lately either. I mean, I know
It was like the Steelers, that 11-0 Steelers kind of vibe.
Yeah,
right now.
it's weird because like last week I'm watching the game Sunday night against the Packers, and I'm looking at myself like the Packers scored 33 points on that defense. Like the Packers offense has not been good this year.
Hurt Aaron Rodgers.
It's been a little bit better since Christian Watson got involved, but overall it has not been like anything special. And to put up 33 points on the Eagles defense, that was a little bit of a cause for concern. I do think the Eagles defense has been getting a little too much love overall this season. Like they've been able to get turnovers and create havoc, but when those aren't happening, I think they're very beatable. And so I think the Titans have the formula to do it. They can play slow. They can grind it out. You know, they're not upset with taking 3 points. They're not upset with punting it either.
They'll do what they got to do to
they'll
win.
do what they have to do to make sure that Jalen Hurts doesn't have as much time as other teams give him. And they'll just grind this one out. I do think this is a good spot for the Titans. So I'm glad we're both on it.
Yeah, love that. We always hate those 4 covers, when it's 4 and 4.5.
It's a tricky number. Sometimes you go with the 4.5, minus 4.5. Sometimes you go with the plus 4.5. It just depends on what you're feeling. I'm feeling a Titans cover.
I'm feeling hot, hot, hot. Ooh. All right, to the closing NFL game. The last one, which is a juicy one on the West Coast. The return of all these running backs and Mike McDaniels to the Niners.
Crazy.
After all these trades, the Dolphins head to the Bay. -4 to the Niners. This is going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think it will be. And it depends where you get your spread. I've got 3.5 some places, 4 some places. Depends where. If you're getting 3.5, you want to shop that. I would, but even so, with 4, I think that's still a good number. Look, this is a Niners auto play for me. I'm taking the Niners -4. 80% of the bets are on the Fins per Action Network. But San Francisco's 3-1 at home as the home favorite. Miami gives up 32 points per game on the road.
It's crazy.
Their defense shows up at home, but on the road, it's not like that. And San Francisco's defense, they've been on the heater, giving up just 8.7 points per game over the last 3 games, with, on the season, just 15.7. So they are phenomenal defensively. DeMeco Ryans, shout out to him. He's going to be a great NFL head coach. A little bit like Robert Saleh, Niners DCs, they're producing them. They're great. I don't know what it is, but Kyle Shanahan knows I got my guy in defense, and that defense always delivers. I do like this game in terms of the head coaching matchup. Shanahan, McDaniel. It's going to be fun, but
That's whose defense can shut it down.
I think it's that, and I also think it's who's got the ball at the end to make a play. And I think at the end of the day, I'm taking the team who wears the red and gold. I'm leaning that way. I think Jimmy G gets it done. I think there's going to be a little bit more offense in this one than you might anticipate. And I know the Niners defense has looked great, but I think there's going to be a little bit more offense in this one. It's going to be tough to stop Tua, Waddle, Tyreek. So I think I just think Jimmy G, CMC, Debo, Kittle, they're just too talented offensively, and that Miami defense on the road just does not show up. So give me my Super Bowl pick to make it. I'm not saying they win it, but give me the Niners. I do think they get this done here. -3.5, -4, wherever you're getting your number from. I would take the Niners.
Miami's been so good yet so bad at the same time. You know what I'm saying? They've been
good.
They've been great.
Really good.
They've been great offensively, but like you said, the defense has been allowing 32 points.
32 points per game on the road. At home, it's like half that. It's like 16. It's unreal.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. It does not make any sense.
How do you play that?
Because usually, what shows up on the road? Defense and run game.
Apparently, they don't do that.
That's not existent for Miami.
They just fumble on the road. I think that's the way things go. But this is a huge game. Dolphins are 8-3. Niners are 7-4. This would be a huge boost for the Niners in the NFC. But also, we know that probably right now can take control for sure of the NFC West because we thought the Seahawks would kind of be there, but they've been falling down, and the Cardinals and Rams just look not good at all.
No, the Rams might not win another game.
And that'd
Cardinals
be
will
huge.
probably win 2 or 3. That would be big. But yeah, this NFC West has not been, I think, what we thought it would be, and I think San Francisco is just going to run away with this at this point. I mean, I think Seattle could still make a wild card, but they're on the outside looking in right now because the Commanders are 7-5, and they're on a hot streak. So, what Seattle was a few weeks ago, they're not that anymore. They've been a little bit of a skid, and yeah, I think this is San Francisco's division to lose now, as I think we all kind of suspected it would be.
Yeah, I agree. That defense of the Niners is just something else. It always it's so interesting because I know everything he's saying is so true. Everything Evan says is so true, and sometimes I just bounce off of it. But I mean, when that defense is healthy, they can go up against anybody, and they can. We saw last year in the playoffs how they would just they beat up Green Bay out of nowhere. I mean, they did, and it ended up being like a field goal victory, but they had that defensive stop and then the turnover, and it was just they play tough football and they know how to win the games. Now, offensively, it is in Jimmy G's hands. We've seen him do it before, and we saw him put on a show in Mexico last Monday night.
He did. And last week against the Saints was the opposite of that. It was ugly.
Oh, that was my bad. Was that 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago. But last week against Saints, ugly win. They won 13-0. But, I mean, look, that defense is rolling right now. It's hard to doubt them. But that Miami offense is also rolling. I mean, they were on cruise control against the Texans. And obviously, Niners defense is not even in the same category as the Texans defense. We know the Texans defense is probably best served in a college conference right now. But at the same time, still to put
and Tua's not going to sit it on the second half.
Yeah, I mean Tua's not going to sit out for the second half. They basically just went on snooze. Like they woke up.
Yeah, they
woke up for like 15 minutes.
They didn't score at all in that second half.
No,
that's a problem.
They barely did. They did nothing in the second half, and they were just like, we don't care.
And they literally only won. They literally split the points, 30-15.
They didn't care. I mean, Miami was. They knew they won that game. They were like, we're done. Like we're checked out. You can have a little fun, Houston, but yeah, we're done. We won. It was unreal. I've never waited
until the fourth.
It was like Steph Curry, when they were up by like the Warriors like dominant days. Like obviously they won all last year, but like when the Warriors were literally blowing out teams like every night, and it'd be like the third quarter, and Steph's got like 50, and he's just kind of like, I'm done. We're up by 25. I'm kind of done for the night. That was what it felt like with Tua just on the bench there. He's got his hat on. He's like, yeah, I'm good. We won. It's unreal. But yeah, I don't think that lasts this week. I like the Niners.
McCaffrey has to play now with injuries, but the team for the most part is healthy. We've seen Brandon Ayuk play pretty well now.
He's taken a step forward this year.
That's been huge to see. Debo kind of has more freedom to roam. He's not getting his beat up like we've talked about in the past weeks, how, having more solid running backs allows him to kind of be free and be more of a receiver and legit weapon instead of just being a straight running back.
Yeah, he's no longer like in a committee. He's now like
he's a receiver.
More of a gadget. Like,
you're
giving the ball in the backfield maybe 2 to 3 times a game instead of what he was getting like felt like 10.
Yeah, it's more like we're running a wildcat. With
Yeah,
him,
yeah.
and
It's
instead,
just it's situational. Let's use them when we know we have a matchup advantage here, or when we think it's going to be a big play. It's more tactical now, whereas before it was just kind of becoming more of a constant. Now it's not that, and I think since CMC's got there, you've seen this offense expand a little bit, and I don't think it's like I said. I don't think it got better, the offense necessarily. I just think that they're able to do more now, which just makes them a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more dynamic, unpredictable. So it's not like I think CMC just makes this team unbelievable. Like that was what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like they don't make them unbelievable, unstoppable. Like no,
it makes them a little more versatile.
it's just they're versatile and they have more ways to attack you, and that's what Kyle Shanahan wants. He wants you to always be guessing because that's when he can get you. So,
McCaffrey can run, McCaffrey can catch, McCaffrey can throw. Debo can do all those too.
That's true.
So I don't know what to expect.
So
but
are we both on the Niners here then?
65% chance of them winning, according to ESPN. I say 100% chance of a Niners victory.
So we are literally 4 for 4 on these NFL picks. And remember, it's not that far gone since we were at odds on every pick. Now we're with each other on, what do we got here?
I don't know.
Two of the, we want to run it down here?
Go ahead.
All
You know
right.
what? We've dropped it all. We've said a ton.
Yeah.
We're just going back and forth at this point. So
Let's do
run
it.
it
Let's do
down
it.
for the day.
All right, so back to college football in the Pac-12 championship. Utah at USC. I'm running at the Trojans. You're running at the Trojans, -2.5.
Fight on.
In the Big 12 championship game, noon Saturday, Kansas State, TCU. Justin's got the Horned Frogs, -2.5. I got Deuce Vaughn and the Wildcats, +2.5. And in the American Conference Championship, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it is the
I don't
American
know.
Athletic Conference.
American Athletic, whatever. I don't.
Just call it the American Conference.
American Conference. UCF at Tulane. I got the Green Wave minus 3.5, 4, whatever it is, and you got UCF -4.
Go Knights.
And in the NFL, dun, dun. No, Jaguars at Lions. We're both running at the Detroit Lions. They're -1.
Go Lions.
Jets at Vikings. We both got the Jets. Jets +3.
Fly, baby.
Titans at Eagles. Titans +4.5 is what we're both riding with.
King
And
Henry.
then in the last game, Dolphins at Niners, -4. We both got San Francisco
Niner gang.
in Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel coming back together in a coaching duo or coaching battle, I guess I would say.
This is a great slate.
It's a really good slate.
All
I really
through.
like these games. Especially, I think a sleeper game that I think is going to be really fun is that Jets and Vikings game in the 1 o'clock window. I think that's going to be a really fun game. And I'm hoping it's a good one, especially in our favor. So, I mean,
Hey,
nothing else left to say, man. I mean, what a week. What a week it was last week. Thanksgiving, Sunday, Saturday. It was all good. You got your Wolverines. It was a terrible Thursday night game for me with my teams, Lions and Pats. I mean, both of our teams really taking the L's. And
Yeah, but you got that.
But I got some wins.
You got that
know.
Giants win.
I didn't
I didn't get the Cowboys.
Sunday, I got some wins. My fantasy teams were looking good. So I mean,
Fantasy teams
overall,
looking
it was
bad.
all right. But, I mean, look, it was one of those weeks where we had some fun, we got some wins, and hopefully we do the same this week.
Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching. Follow on Twitter. Follow on Instagram. Follow on TikTok. Follow on every single thing. We're gonna keep the victories up.
Yes.
Keep everything rolling. My last statement is: we talk Jets and Vikings. The Jets gonna bring all that sauce, and in return, we get that juice.
Oh, nice.
I'll tell you what.
Nice. Well, like, I just want to say this. If you're listening, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please review, comment, give us a 5-star rating, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. I don't care. Hopefully it's 5-star. I mean, hopefully we're making it fun for you, but
5.
But yeah, give us some reviews. Tell us what we can improve at. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We're all for it. I'm a big believer in constructive criticism. No one's a bigger critic than myself. So, every single episode, I listen back, seeing what I can improve on. How can I become better at this? How can I give you guys better content? How can I give you guys better picks? How can I give you guys better concrete advice? So I'm always a student of my own game. So please feel free to tell me what I need to improve on, what Justin needs to improve on, and what you like and don't like. We're all for it. As long as you're commenting, giving us reviews, giving us feedback. We love that stuff. So
Send us your picks.
Yeah, send us your picks too. So please, whatever you guys want to do, interact with us. I mean, I got my phone on me at all times. I'll battle with you guys. I don't care. So we love it. We're gonna have so much fun as this continues to grow. So we love you guys. We hope you're having fun listening. And as always, we're gonna be squeezing. We're gonna be squeezing big time. Hopefully this week with some more wins. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, 39, 28, and 2 for me, 34, 32, and 2 for Justin. We're building a track record here, and hopefully you guys can see that and put some more faith in us. As you might think we're just a couple of doorknobs making these picks, but no, we put in work. We put in the real work, and look, it's not just about stats too. You got to watch the games. You got to look at what you're seeing. You got to look at what you're betting on, because it's not all about, oh, this team looks good on paper. No. What do you see when you're watching the game? And if you actually know football, or you've seen enough football to know what's good and what's not, what works and what doesn't, you'll be able to make better picks. So that's my speech. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We're going to continue to do this for you. Squeeze the Juice. It's a podcast for the people.
Ooh.
So we're going to continue to have fun. And that's all I got to say, man.
And that's all for episode 8, y'all. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.